Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobbycapucci, and this is a morning update. All right, I have a couple of articles actually this morning. There's a little bit of news on two fronts. We have some more information in the Ghislaine Maxwell, Virginia Roberts situation, and we have an ex-model named Amy McClure who is accusing Jeffrey Epstein of raping her as all the way back in 1993. So that just goes to show you the range of this monster's activity. And you know he didn't just start in 93, right? He had this proclivity. This was something he did. And in my opinion, like you all know, I believe it was exploited by intelligence agencies. Insert whichever one you want here. And they used that against him. And then in turn, he used his own sick and demented perversions to lure other men into his orbit and then blackmailed them after they were captured on film or audio or whatever it may be, having sex with these underage girls. And remember, not knowing that they're underage is not an excuse, right? These people of power should know better. They should know that this is, this whole entire scheme was, it's been around forever. The kind of thing that, you see in all different kinds of situations all the way back to probably before the Middle Ages, but in the Middle Ages, especially Roman times, these were the kind of things people did, try and get people disgraced that are in power, and then they use that to control them, to have them do what they want. So how could Epstein get away with everything he's gotten away with? How could Epstein have such a long history of serial rape and trafficking of women and young girls, minors, and not be caught? How is it possible that all of these supposedly super smart people, all of these world leaders, these movers and these shakers, these entertainers, you have, newscasters, news people, politicians, businessmen, academics, all these people that are supposedly so smart, how don't they understand what's going on around them? How is that normal behavior? How is it normal to have a bunch of young girls that are borderline even 18 around you at all times? It's not normal. It's not normal behavior. And anybody who says it's normal, well, I think they have something wrong with them. All right, before we get into the articles, if you want to reach me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. All right, so let's jump into our first article. And our first article is from the New York Post. Headline: Ex-model Amy McClure accuses Jeffrey Epstein of 1993 rape. A former model claims she was raped by Jeffrey Epstein in New York more than 25 years ago and is racked with guilt at seeing so many other alleged victims come forward in decades that followed. Speaking about the alleged sex attack for the first time, Amy McClure told The Sun that the late pedophile raped her on the floor after she agreed to massage him at his Manhattan mansion in 1993. So again, we see the massage coming into play, right? We know what massage was code word for with these sickos, him, Glenn Dubin, the rest of them. So we know what that meant. And these poor girls, unsuspecting, had no idea. I mean, hindsight's 20/20, right? But these girls had no idea. They were lured in thinking they were going to get, a couple bucks for a massage, whatever it may be. But what they really got was a lifelong head full of trauma. And this sick animal got away with it for so long. She recalled how he made her feel embarrassed and ashamed and stupid, and that he got irritated, almost angry, when she told him she was 21. Imagine, the sick bastard, 21 is too old for him. This is a guy that, like I said 100 times now, if it wasn't for the information he had on other people, I would have been totally fine with somebody strapping him to one of those rockets that are going into space by the SpaceX rockets and watching it on live internet TV as he disintegrates when he gets out of orbit. Because I don't even look at him as a human being. Totally less than a human being, and his punishment, whatever it was going to be, would not have fit the crime, in my opinion. People like him, there's no reforming people like him. He's a serial abuser, a sick man, and the best place for him, honestly, is the afterlife. But, of course, we wanted that information, and of course, we don't want some kind of clouded nonsense of how he passed away. He said something like, You're too old. You're getting too old for this. What are you doing?" McClure told The Sun, calling it crushing and also alarming when he threatened her at the end. He said, "If you tell anybody anything, I'll crush whatever career you might have," or something like that. He was just mean so quickly. And we see that with these predators, these high-profile predators, right? Harvey Weinstein, the same thing. The way that man conducted his business, forget about it. It literally went from awkward to mean to rape so fast, she told the UK paper. The alleged attack would be one of the oldest allegations against Epstein, who died in August after being found hanged in his Manhattan lockup. Well, at least they didn't say suicided himself. McClure, originally from Oklahoma, says she is racked with guilt, wondering if she could have stopped the decades-long reign of terror if she had spoken up at the time. "I didn't say anything to anyone at the time because I felt like it would come across and look like it was my fault," said McClure, who has a daughter with former Calvin Klein CEO Arnold Simon. "I felt nobody would believe me. I blame myself for a lot of it. And I didn't know what anyone could do anyway. These people were from a different world. They were rich, untouchable. Although I didn't know quite how untouchable back then." Again, another victim of this man thought he was untouchable. All right? This is, our system is broken, folks. When women who are assaulted feel like they can't come out and say something and talk to somebody, we got a problem. We have a serious problem that needs to be addressed because, look, everybody who knows me knows I'm not some kind of male feminist or anything like that. And if you know me, you know that I didn't believe the allegations against Kavanaugh, not because of politics, but because they weren't credible in my opinion, right? So I'm not like some crazy believe all women. I'm a believe all evidence guy, right? But when you have all of this evidence that comes out and you see that this man was on this rape spree and nobody gave a damn, and all of these elites, all these people that were around him for years and years and years and years just enabled his behavior by keeping him in their orbit because they thought maybe they could get something out of him, like Prince Andrew. It's just sick. And to think that these are the people that are in these high positions that reign above us almost like gods. It's disturbing. And it's not just a physical act of rape. You can also rape someone's dreams and their soul, their future forever. And there's not any way to pay any of these women back for that. McClure says she will cooperate with the district attorney's office in case she can help with the investigation against accused accomplices. She said Prince Andrew's recent car crash of an interview about his ties to Epstein made her angry, and that Ghislaine Maxwell, the accused madam she never met, sounds like a Disney villain. He is a sick, sick monster of a man, but if it's true that she found these young girls for him and set it all up, she's even worse, she told The Sun. Well, I said the same thing. They're on par with each other, in my opinion. If you're bringing girls in to get molested for your own benefit or your own gain and partaking in it as well, come on, there's something severely wrong with you. And to think she's still hanging out with people like Andrew, well, I guess birds of a feather, right? And the Disney villain comment, that's pretty funny considering ABC squashed this story, right? Disney? Huh. She needs to come forward and explain herself to all the victims, she said of other women's allegations, which she likened to dropping these young girls to Epstein like baby mice to a snake. McClure's lawyer, Spencer Coven, also said he is determining whether a lawsuit can still be filed against Epstein's estate. Okay, well, hey, look, I got news for you. If their accounts are true, and of course we always have to be cautious because there are crazy people that will just come out of the woodwork and say, "Oh yeah, I was part of this to try and get money," right? I'm not accusing her of that, of course. I'm just saying we have to be cautious and we have to vet what we believe, and we have to make sure we're sourcing things correctly, and we have to make sure that it's coming from credible places, or else we run the risk of falling for disinformation and things that are harmful to the case in general. The next article we have is from The Sun. The headline, Pimped Out. Jeffrey Epstein's madam, Ghislaine Maxwell, knew Prince Andrew's accuser, Virginia Roberts, was 17 in unsealed court documents. Oh boy. Yeah, right? So it just gets darker and darker and more bleak for Ghislaine Maxwell and Prince Andrew and all of those that enabled them. Because let's be real, folks. How much more evidence do we need? How much more evidence does the FBI need? At the very least, they need to have a sit-down, right? So why aren't they pursuing it? Or are they? And if they are, why don't they just come clean with the public and let the public know where they stand on the case? They could end all of the questions and so-called conspiracy theories if they just provided some evidence. Maxwell introduced Jeffrey Epstein to the Duke of York and has told how she managed the dead pedophile's 6 houses and recruited women to massage him. There you go. She said it with her own words. They're that brazen that they'll use their code words right in front of us because they know that they think we're so stupid. Oh, I got him girls to, air quotes, massage him. Yeah, okay. She has claimed that Robert's account of abuse at the hands of the prince and Epstein is a lie, but admitted she was 17 when she started massaging the disgraced millionaire at this mansion in Palm Beach, Florida. Why would you have a 17-year-old massage an old-ass man like that? A 17-year-old. Is she a masseuse? No. Did she go to massage school? No. What did she watch a couple of videos or something? I don't understand. If you want a masseuse, go get yourself a professional masseuse. Why do you need a 17-year-old girl touching your wrinkly ass, disgusting body? In Maxwell's video statement to a New York court in a libel action brought by Roberts, she became angry at point and banged the table in fury. Oh, I bet she did. I bet she did. She said, "I can only go on what I know. What I know is a falsehood based on what Virginia said. Everything Virginia has said is an absolute lie, which is why we are here in this room." Okay, well, that's incorrect. That is incorrect. Everything she said is a lie. She took that picture, right? You knew her, right? You brought her in for massages, right? Well, there are 3 things that are easily verifiable, Miss Maxwell. What we can all agree on at this point, there is not one person in this room, however much you would like her to be younger, who can say she was not 17. So she was 17. At 17, you're allowed to be a professional masseuse. There's nothing inappropriate about her coming at that time to give a massage. Oh, there's not? I got news for you. I don't have any kids, but if my daughter was over massaging some scummy-ass old man at 17 years old and she didn't have any training in that field, you better believe there'd be problems. Forget about the police. Forget about the police. I'd be showing up at your pad and I'd be giving you the business. All right? 17 years old, folks. Nothing inappropriate about that. They're honorable. You see, they have no self-awareness. Maxwell denied any involvement in the alleged sex abuse, adding, "I have never participated at any time with Virginia in a massage with Jeffrey. I have been absolutely appalled by her story." Yeah, okay. What about the other girls? Miss Maxwell? Why were you given immunity under that deal, Miss Maxwell, if you have nothing to fear? Maxwell insisted she barely knew Roberts, despite overwhelming evidence the women saw each other on multiple occasions. Look, they flew across seas together. They hung out on the island together. This girl was 17 at Virginia Maxwell's house. Why was this 17-year-old girl in London with these 2 old-ass people? What were they doing? What could they possibly have in common? What could they possibly be discussing? You know what they were doing, folks. I know what they were doing. And the FBI knows what they were doing. And everybody around the case knows what they were doing if they're being honest with themselves. And how they look themselves in the mirror every day when they know what the facts are and still deny it and enable it still. I don't know how they do that. Roberts was standing next to Maxwell in a notorious photo taken in 2001 of Prince Andrew with his hand around the then 17-year-old's waist. In his car crash BBC interview, the royal suggested the photo could have been faked. In the same statement, Maxwell also described her role for Epstein. She said, "My job included hiring many people. There were 6 homes. I hired assistants, architects, decorators, cooks, cleaners, gardeners, pool people, pilots. I hired all sorts of people. A very small part of my job was to find adult professional massage therapists for Jeffrey." Well, you found a 17-year-old. That's not an adult. Again, another lie. How could this have been thrown out of court? Why? How could the judge find this stuff not worth being put into trial? I just don't understand. From time to time, I would visit professional spas. I would receive a massage. If it was good, I would ask them if they did home visits. Virginia Roberts wasn't a massage therapist when she was met. She was working at Mar-a-Lago as a towel girl. How do you say that she's a massage therapist? She was giving you the towels. When she asked how often Roberts gave Epstein massages, she said, "It's important to understand that I wasn't with Jeffrey all the time. In fact, I was only in his house less than half the time, so I cannot testify to when I wasn't there how often she came. What I can say is that I barely would remember her if not for all this rubbish. I probably wouldn't remember her at all, except that she came from time to time, but I don't recollect her coming as often as she portrayed herself." Well, what is it? You're only there 50% of the time. Do you was she there? Wasn't she there? You just said you couldn't tell because you're not there all the time. You weren't always with Jeffrey. What is it? When I was at the house, he received massage on average once a day. Air quotes, massage. Roberts was suing Maxwell over calling her claims that when she was forced to have sex with the Duke of York 3 times, lies. Roberts' claimed she was forced to have sex with Andrew 3 times between 1999 and 2002 in London, New York, and on Epstein's private Caribbean island. In 2015, a U.S. judge struck out Roberts' allegations against the prince for being immaterial and impertinent. Prince Andrew has always strongly denied the allegations against him. You know, another activist judge, right? Maybe he wants some access to the royals too, or she wants some access to the royals too. Do you folks actually trust the judges in this country at this point? I certainly don't. I don't trust any of them. I don't trust the system at all anymore. I went from trusting it, you know, a little bit, thinking that, you know, justice would always be served in these sort of situations, to not trusting it at all. So, I don't know about you folks, but whoever this judge is, definitely needs to have a nice talking to. Maxwell did reach an agreement with Roberts and settled out of court and applied to have the interviews sealed. Okay, well, why would you settle out of court if it wasn't true? Why didn't you just go to trial, Miss Maxwell? I know I'm not settling out of court if I'm being accused of something heinous like this. If I'm innocent, forget it. We're going to the mattresses. I will spend every dime to clear my name. Why wouldn't she? What did she have to fear? An appeal court ruled in July that 2,000 pages could be released following Epstein's arrest on sex trafficking charges. Parts of the statements were unsealed on August 9th. Epstein was found hanged in his jail cell the next day. Witnesses reportedly told Maxwell acted as Epstein's madam and found underage girls for him. Well, there you go, witnesses. So we've heard from several of them. Let's hear from the rest of them. I hope they keep coming out. I hope people that were involved in this, who were scared, are emboldened now by the momentum that the case has gained. And with them being emboldened by it, I hope they come forward and they give their evidence as well. So again, the more evidence we have, the better, right? When Maxwell was asked if Epstein sexually abused minors, she said, "I can only testify to what I know. I know that Virginia is a liar, and I know that what she testified is a lie." Okay, so what about other minors? Is just Miss Roberts a liar, or do you categorically deny that he molested anyone? Or, see, this is why I don't understand how she got away with any of this stuff. These are garbage answers. This is like Prince Andrew's interview, except it's a deposition. So I can only testify to what I would know to be a falsehood, and half those falsehoods are enormous, so I categorically deny everything she said. Epstein was first jailed in 2008 for procuring an underage girl for prostitution. He got an 18-month sentence, during which he was able to go on work release to his office 6 days a week. He was released on probation after 13 months. Think about that, work release, but he got to go to his office 6 days a week. Must be nice. Must be nice to be the ruling class. Huh, folks? Must be nice. Ay, ay, ay. All right, so that is our morning update for today. And as usual, if anything happens this afternoon, or if I find anything interesting that I think I should share with you folks, I will pop around and I will record it and share it with you. If you would like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com, bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. If you guys are traveling today, be careful. The roads are about to get messy in a lot of places, even here in southern Nevada. So I hope everybody gets safely to wherever they're going if you're traveling tonight. And if you are, well, you're in luck. You have about 84 or 5 episodes or something like that for your listening enjoyment. So you won't be bored at the very least, right? If you guys would like to help keep the show going and keep the show growing, and you want to donate to the GoFundMe, you can find that link inside of the description box. I'm not really big on even doing fundraising. It's kind of foreign to me. I've never really done anything like that, but it helps with the show's growth. It gives me more time to focus on the show and bring you guys more content. And I understand now, that this day and age, that is the lifeblood of independent journalism and independent content creators. So I guess when in Rome, right? But you can, like I always say, the most valuable asset you guys have, you're already sharing with me, and that's your time. So if that's all you donate to the show, that's perfectly fine with me as well. Because remember, this show was just it was just me ranting when we first did it. I never expected it to grow the way it's growing. I mean, 7,000 more downloads and we're at 100,000 downloads, folks. That's 100,000 downloads. It's pretty incredible, especially considering I never marketed the show or anything at all. I just, I was so fed up about what was happening. I figured it was time to rant about it. And my producer, Lee, gave me the platform, and people started downloading it, listening to it, and sending me emails. And, so we're going to keep this train rolling. And like I said yesterday, it's not me, it's we. It's this show is just a little drop in the bucket. There's so many other shows or bigger shows, but everybody working together to put the spotlight on this case is what's important. So that's all I really care about at the end of the day. Justice for these girls and for these people who were engaged in these acts to not get away with it. Because if they get away with it, folks, look what happens. They're just going to do it again, and more people are going to suffer. So, all right, I hope everybody has a great day. I will be back later on with some more updates in the Daily Drop, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. All right, everybody. Talk to you later.